everybody. Welcome to Lifestyle with Katie Did. Today we're shooting from Tahoe. We're at our friend Saeed's house. And gorgeous house, and we're here skiing for a couple of days, and I have here a really good friend of mine, Jennifer Shipley, and she is a professional coach. Professional coach, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. And actually something that I learned from Jennifer is it's called neurofeedback, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about that today.
Yeah, so neurofeedback is, you've probably heard of biofeedback before, and biofeedback is sort of getting you to be able to control your body reactions with your mind. Like say you're in chronic pain, it sort of train you to be able to tone that down. Neurofeedback is specific to the brain. Basically, when they first started doing neurofeedback, they figured out that you could, using electrodes in certain spots on the brain, you could sort of encourage the brain to go into different wavelengths. And your brain waves are at different hertz levels, and the lower brain waves are like sort of where you have the dreamy state, then you go higher into like an alert state. There's a really nice place where you're sort of, you call it the cat-like Zen spot.
And how do you get there? How do you get to the cat-like Zen spot?
Well, so neurofeedback, the type of neurofeedback that I'm doing now, that I'm certified in, is called Neurooptimal. And unlike the earlier stages when they first started doing this in the 60s, it doesn't push. All it does is give you feedback. So it just lets the brain see what it's doing. And in this case, it lets the brain hear what it's doing. Because what it does is, I put electrodes on either side of someone's head, and the software reads their EEG, you know, the electroencephalogram thing. So basically reading their brain waves, and the software takes that, and the client is listening to music, and when the brain waves get a little out of normative bounds, or when they get destabilized, the music will either pop or pause a little bit, and so you're hearing feedback, but it's not pushing anything.
Okay, so it's sort of like exercising for the brain.
Absolutely. It's absolutely like going to the gym.
Now, how did you get this started? I mean, how did you discover this, and why?
I actually, the first time I got into it was, I was in a car accident, well, a bike. I was on a bike, I was hit by a car when I was 20. And I was out for about an hour and a half. Wear your helmets, saved my life.
Skiing too, helmets.
Skiing too. So, later in life, we were just curious whether I might have had lingering brain damage from that. Like, was there anything that might cause, because I had chronic pain issues and such. And so I went and did a mapping of my brain. They did 19 different spots,
wow.
And they read my EEG in various, eyes open, eyes closed, etc. And I had nothing, it was fine. Healthy brain, yay. So anyway, that was just sort of got me interested in it. I did a little bit of the neurofeedback where they were pushing, and then I got kind of uncomfortable with that because, you know, if somebody pushes in the wrong place, you know, the temporal lobe or the parietal lobe, whatever, you can leave a little sleepy, maybe you shouldn't be driving. It just sort of like someone was playing God with my brain, and I didn't like that idea. Okay. But this system that's come out that I've just discovered is...
That you're practicing.
That I'm practicing. It's called Neurooptimal. Again, it only does feedback. So there's no pushing. It just reads what your brainwaves are doing, and then it plays music for you, and your brain recognizes in the music, after a moment, your brain is really smart, that it's watching itself. It's almost like holding up a mirror to your brain, and it gives it a chance to sort of re-optimize. We were joking, almost like defragging your computer.
Yes, like defragging your brain, in a really good way.
But your brain basically can optimize itself.
Okay, now it has helped you, right? You went through several sessions.
Yes, I've been doing it for a few months now. Although typically people, if you do it, you can see results in 6 to 10 sessions. They generally recommend 20 sessions. The session's about 35 minutes.
Okay.
Although it takes a little longer to hook up the things and all.
I've done one and it was so relaxing. I was sleeping and snoring.
She was sleeping, that was cute. Yeah, so what got me to try it, I was actually going through IVF, in vitro fertilization, and trying to get pregnant. And you have to take a lot of hormones to do that.
Yeah.
And I had a week where we were just starting, and I had a week where all of a sudden I was at work and I just couldn't think. My brain was fog, and I was...
And you know it was different.
It was 2 days in a row, and the third day I was like, something is wrong with me. Like, I was terrified.
Right.
And I called my therapist, and I said, I don't know what's going on, but I don't feel like myself. It's horrible.
Right.
And we talked through like all the stressors I was under, trying to get pregnant, etc. And then I mentioned, by the way, we just started the IVF, and I took the first shot on Tuesday, and she was like, well, hello.
Wow.
They just sent you into menopause like that. And
that was news to you, right? You didn't realize that.
I didn't realize that's how it
was the
worked.
side effect.
Yeah, I mean, what they do is they shut down your own hormones, and then you start, and they take control. So, and women who go through menopause, it's much slower typically, but you do have sort of forgetfulness, and you're like a little foggy, and people complain about that.
And it's difficult.
Yeah.
Period.
From what we hear, we haven't gone through it yet.
Yes,
but yes,
it's
I
coming.
understand. My mom. So, going into it immediately, she suggested this Neurooptimal as a possibility to help me.
Okay.
So I started doing that, and it was a godsend. Like suddenly I could think again, and my brain was back, and I was clear. And it's terrifying to be at work and be successful, and you know you're good at your job, and suddenly you can't think.
Wow.
So,
and how many sessions did it take for you to start seeing the change?
I probably saw a difference within like 5 or 6 sessions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a godsend for me, and then I've continued to do it because it's sort of like, why not? And the thing is, what's really cool is, it's not something that your brain unlearns. Like once you do it, your brain has learned it. It's like riding a bike.
Wow.
So it's not
That's
something you have to do for the rest of your life, you know, on a continuing basis. But it might be that you do like a session of 12, and then you sort of know when you're done.
Like the muscle
No, I'm
memory, the
good.
brain muscle memory.
And then maybe you have a stressor in your life that kind of throws you a curveball, and you think, you know, it might be time for a booster, and you go back for a booster. But it's kind of like the gym. You got to keep it up a little bit, but really, your brain learns it.
Okay.
It's a done thing.
Now, who are the prime candidates for this? Who should be?
Anybody.
Really?
Anybody,
Okay.
yeah. So there's sort of 2 approaches with it. You can use it for, I think of it as for peak performance. Musicians use it to better play, graphic designers. It really helps with creativity. It sort of unlocks or gets you unstuck because your brain is not following to the old patterns again. It helps the brain sort of, you know, get more efficient in its metabolism and the blood flow and all. And so executives use it. Yeah, executives use it for better performance. It's actually in a lot of golf pro shops.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
they're using it there. But then there's another group of people, for instance, with children respond really well. Like children with ADHD.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good to know.
People who are suffering from Alzheimer's. It can't cure Alzheimer's, obviously. This is not a cure for anything. But what it can do is they found give them about 2 years back and a delay in terms of their decline.
And if people are interested, can they email you for questions?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can, they can email me at jbshipley@me.com.
Okay.
And that's
And I'll have it on
okay.
the description.
Great.
Well, thank you so
there
much.
are providers in every part of the country, so I can sort of hook you up with a place where you can find a provider of Neurooptimal.
I'm definitely going to sign up for it. So thank you so much.
Cool,
I'll
thank
see you on the
you.
slopes. Cool.
Yay!